Good morning, good morning, good morning. Welcome, family, to my writer's life. I am Alicia Anabel Santos, and this is episode 8 Roadmap to Writing. So, happy Friday. It's November 30th, 2018, and whenever December hits, I feel a different urgency. I get very excited because it's like it's like your last lap, your your final sprint to get to the finish line. And I always like to end my year, no matter what happens, the 11 months prior to this last month of the year. This last month, I set an intention for myself to make sure that I do something that excites me, that makes me feel proud, that makes me feel like I'm recommitted to my story, to my projects, to my writer's life. And so December, I'm very intentional about the types of things that the types of things that I'm creating, because I know that I'm co creating with the universe. And so, where I might have been stagnant some months, and this was a hard year, I'm not going to beat myself up for the months that were hard and I may not have met some writing goals. December is the month that I meet many writing goals. I won't say every, because I like to set realistic goals, SMART goals. Look that up, because this podcast is not about um, setting goals. It is about having a roadmap. And so yesterday I talked about re-entering the story, and so there are steps that it takes. It's You just don't jump in and you're back into the story and everything is gravy and lovely and you're just flowing. That's not my process. For me, my process is about sitting down and creating a game plan. There are some writers that will tell you that they don't outline, that they just sit and they just kind of go where the story leads them. That's fantastic. That's not how I work, though. I am someone who, it doesn't matter what kind of writing I'm what kind of genre I'm writing in, I like to have a plan. I like to know where I'm headed, how I head there, what's going to come up in the journey, what magic is going to come up, what obstacles, what challenges are going to come up, that I can prepare for. But I like having a roadmap. I do. So yesterday was all about re-entering the story, thinking about where I was. This morning I looked at two documents that I created. One is a list of all of the file documents by name that my novel has, any kind of notes, scenes, description, character sketches, all of that. So I have a list of where things reside, where they live. I have on that list are all of the documents I've ever created for what's the actual writing of the novel. So this is not notes. These are the scenes that I've workshopped in writing workshops. These are the scenes that are developed. I won't say completely developed, but they're definitely in their first rounds of the first draft of the novel. That's one document. The second document is my novel to-do list. How are they different? The first index is me looking at the docs I created, right? So I have a document titled First 25 Pages, Week 5 of Workshop, um, chapters 11 through 15. So they're like chapter 5, chapter 7. They're by chapter, right? I took those and I put them all into one main manuscript, which is something that I haven't done ever because I usually keep my chapters individually. And I think a lot of writers do that. They like to keep them separate. I wanted to have one place where all of my chapters, so I have two different versions, right? I have it by chapter, but then I have my main manuscript, the one that I'm working on. So when I finish a scene, I drop that into this main manuscript because in this way, I'm tracking my pages, I'm tracking my word count. So that's the working document. So I have this list that has the used docs, and then I have this new, main doc. Okay, my to do list. In my to do list, I track what I've done so that I don't. This is what happens when you take a break from writing. You forget what you have, you forget what you've done. Sometimes you repeat work. Sometimes you notice that, you're working in an old version of a document and you want to kick yourself in the ass because you have a new one. This is why it's important to be organized. So having a roadmap means that you're organizing your writing, you're organizing your writer's life in a way that you know where you were and where you're headed. So that's what the intention of this, podcast this morning is about. It's about getting creating a roadmap to get ready to write. And that's where we are. So in my novels to-do list, I write what I've done. So what edits I've made from workshop notes so that I don't go back and reinvent, what chapters I actually moved, what pages I've read, what page number to start on to begin either reading again or writing again. And it actually, I'm really, so the last time I worked on my novel was August 2018. And my last note was work in chapter 15 and 16. That's where I'm beginning. So I'm smiling this morning because what I noticed, what I've discovered, is that not only do I have my first, like, let's say 70 pages, done, but I'm in chapter 15 and 16. And so today, when I get back into the story, I'm going to skim the pages that I have just to kind of look at chapter 1 through 15 and kind of get a sense for, again, where I was in the story, what I was thinking about, what I was writing, so that I can sit back down and begin again. And so, a roadmap, the importance of a roadmap, yo. It's important to know where we're headed. It's important to be organized. It's important to have a plan because when you have a plan, then you can execute it. Then you can get it done. Then it begins to feel more manageable, more doable. And so I'm very excited because I got a roadmap, yo. And so today is going to be a good writing day, I hope. And I know that my characters are going to be excited to see me again. They haven't seen me since August. I've missed them. And so with that, family, let me give you some writing prompts for today. I'll give you some things to think about. So the whole theme of this diary is about planning, right? The last thing I wrote was the last piece of writing I created was what? This is the last thing that you completed. This is the last thing that you drafted. What was that? What it took to finish it. What it took to finish it. my new roadmap looks like. My new roadmap looks like you can pause this writing meditation. I'm going to call them my writing meditations. You can pause a writing meditation to reflect, to journal, to answer the prompts. Spend as much time as you need to. But I will share the last thing I wrote. Excuse me. Excuse me. The last thing I wrote was some poems. Some poems from um, the Kave Kanam workshop that I was in. And the last thing I wrote was the eulogy for my brother. That was hard. And in terms of the projects, the last thing I wrote was 7 children's books. And I wrote them in honor of my brother because I wanted him to read them before leaving this place. And I'm really um, proud to share that I did get to gift him that. What it took to finish it. What it took to finish it was a determination and an urgency and a hunger um, and a desperate desire to gift my brother something beautiful. I wanted, I don't know what he's read of mine. I don't know what he ever read of mine because I know that my memoir is really hard for a lot of people in my family to read. And so I don't think he read, I don't know if he's ever read my memoir, but he read the children's books. And so what it took to finish it was that I was writing it in honor of him. And so that motivated me in a different way, that pushed me in a different way. And what my roadmap looks like today, it looks organized. It looks like I'm a woman with a plan. I know exactly where I left off, and that feels good because now I'm not like, oh, what have I done? I actually have documents that show me, okay, Alicia, this is what you were working on back in August, and now you can get your feet wet again and dive back into the ocean. And so that's exciting. And my intention for today is to write at least one new page in my novel. That's it. If I do more than that, fantastic, but that is my intention, to at least get one page. And family, I'm wishing you the most beautiful day, an incredible weekend. I hope that you find the time to create a roadmap, to get to know your characters again, and to remember why you write. That'll be my diary, my podcast tomorrow, why I write. Sending you so much love, yo. Peace.